Hello, everyone. Happy week 4. We're making it. Yeah. Halfway through the course. Can you believe it? In case someone hasn't told you today or even lately, you're amazing. You really, really are. And you need to hear it all the time. So, this is my weekly instructional video. I'm going to keep it short. A little preview of what we're going to be reading this week. In your main textbook, Saravello, Understanding Texts and Readers, we're on to part 3, which is all about nonfiction. Because generally, our classes should be about 50-50, right? Like half fiction, half nonfiction, a little variation in there, maybe 55-45. But we try to make sure we're doing a good balance of fiction and nonfiction, especially because you think about our students who are really good at one or the other and need some opportunity to spread their skills into the other genre. So, just like the fiction section, this is laid out just the same. It starts with supporting nonfiction, studying nonfiction and supporting readers. It starts off with your crash course in the 4 main elements of nonfiction reading that we study. They are the main idea, key details, vocabulary, and text features. Text features must be a really new thing that's being studied in schools because in my undergrad class right now, I have 30 undergraduates who are becoming new teachers. They are going to start their student teaching in the spring or fall, next fall. And when I talk about text features, they get a glazed look over their face, like they don't know what text features are, they haven't heard about this, this is not something they studied in school, but it's something that's so very important that we have to help students recognize. Not only this book will help us understand that not only do we want them to identify and recognize the text features, but learn how those text features can enhance your comprehension, how they connect to what you're learning. So students tend to like skip the cutouts or the graphics or the captions under illustrations. They just skip over it because that's not the important part. But it is. And it all connects and it helps us synthesize ideas in our head. And we need to really point out text features, but help students understand how to read them and how to get the most out of those text features. That's just my dog. I'm sorry. Then, of course, my favorite part, we have each level J through W with the important look-fors at each level. So it will talk about the main idea, the key details, vocabulary, and text features, and then the examples of books at this level. So again, are you noticing that they don't organize this by what a second grader's reading, what a third grader's reading? This is organized by level so that no matter what a student, where a student's progression of skills is, we can support them using these look-fors and concepts at that level. And that's the essence of workshop model. We're by level, not by grade. Great. Then I have 2 other texts for you. No videos today. No videos this week. 2 other texts on Canvas for you to read. Both are from Calkins. I just think that they're really well explained and researched and thought through, and I think they're important documents to read, not necessarily because I'm, selling Calkins to you. So she does have the second article, Principles Undergirding this, what's it called, you guys? This phonics program. It is meant to explain the principles of her Units of Study phonics program. However, I think the research base is so sound that it should apply to any phonics program that you could look through her lens to analyze any phonics program that you want to use. And these are some really important tenets that we would want to see in any really good, effective phonics program. So that's why I changed the title and says a highly effective phonics program instead of the Calkins phonics program. I also have an article on English language learners and the importance of thinking about phonics through an English learner's lens. We want to be paying attention very carefully and listening to our students about the sounds that they're making and how they're articulating them, because that can really help us pinpoint where their confusion or obstacles might lie. And that article, I think, also really helps us emphasize something we already know, but the connection between a strong vocabulary and strong comprehension. And I'm sure you've had courses in your past about different tiers of vocabulary, right? Like tier one is our, in the English language world, we would call those basic interpersonal communication skills, BICS for short, the words that we use just to talk every day: water, bed, yes, and the, right? And then up to tier three are really specific words to a content area, like science words, like photosynthesis, or, cooking words like broiling, right? But then in between there's these tier two words, and they're like the brick and mortar words that they're the mortar words that like hold our language together. And I think we as teachers really want to teach those tier three words because they're the big words, they're the bolded words, they're the words that show that you've learned the content. But we forget about those tier two words that we need to be teaching that really help glue everything together. So in a sentence like, even though bats have wings, they are not birds. If you're an English language learner and you don't know even though, that sentence isn't going to mean as much to you. You can spend all the time in the world teaching them what bats and wings and birds are, but really they need to know what even though means, right? Tier 2 also has a lot of those words that have multiple meanings that we have to know the shades of meaning, or how those words manifest differently in different content areas. They, like a word like balance, means something very different in science than it does in Phi-Ed, or even in music or art. So balance would be a tier 2 word that we want to teach them, has multiple meanings, and it depends on how we use it. So I present to you the English language article to really think about phonics and vocabulary and how we can support our English language learners. And I'm looking at my notes over here. One quote that I wanted to really point out to you guys from the Principles Undergirding a Highly Effective Phonics Program. I think that article really helps us understand the importance of teaching phonics as it is embedded in reading and writing. I know we talked a lot about that in our first discussion around balanced literacy, but I think that article really drives it home. So if I know that I have, these dolch words or high frequency words that I want to get through in the school year, maybe if I read this article and thought through, I might present those words in a different sequence, as it might help my students as depending on what we're reading about that week or what we're writing about that week. So, if we're writing our how-to articles or nonfiction articles, I might teach words like put and can. But if we're writing our narratives that week, fiction, we might use words like said or went. So even the way you sequence how you teach, the order in which you teach your sight words or high frequency words to your students should be something that we really think through, because phonics has to connect to our reading and to our writing to make it, I think of like a tripod or like a three-legged chair. All three have to work in harmony for students to get the most out of their literacy curriculum. And this quote that I really liked that she put, even the way you sequence even the sequence in which you teach high frequency words will be affected by your commitment to teach in ways that align your reading and writing instruction. So those are our 3 texts for this week, and your discussion post will be your writer's notebook for the week. So I'd like to hear something that was new to you this week, something that made you curious or wonder, something that connected to a student, current or former, and something you just can't wait to share with your colleagues, because gall darn it, you're a professional and you have a lot to share with your community. So I look forward to seeing your posts this week. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.